book has the power to reshape your thinking, to spark your imagination, and to change the trajectory of your life. It connects us with ideas, connects us with people, connects us with moments in time that spark that inner growth. It's one of the easiest ways of sparking change within ourselves and in the world around us. What is the last book that changed your life? What is up, Impact Heroes? Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Rick Ornelas. Thank you for spending some time with us today because we know time's a valuable resource and we're going to make it worth your while. I appreciate each and every one of you, not just for listening, but for who you are. I know you're sparking change to make the world a better place every day, and I am humbled and grateful for your efforts. It takes all of us doing our part to spread positive change, and that's what this show is all about. Motivating you with stories of struggle, courage, and hope to empower you to make a difference in your life and the lives of others.
In case you missed it,
The opportunity right in front of us to be able to solve all of the challenges. But we can only do so when all of us participate in making the world more fair and a prosperous place for everyone.
Yeah, we all have to do our part.
So that's why B1J1 can bring like a mixture of some local projects that could be available for certain businesses, right? Like they might find that in B1J1 and give. But in a greater scheme of things, we want the businesses to also do a little bit of global giving and global impact and to
available everywhere you listen to your podcasts.
Welcome back, Impact Heroes, to the latest edition of I Spark Change Through. Our goal with these episodes is featuring all the different ways that us and others spark change to make the world a better place through social impact and positive change. We've found over the past few years that there are endless ways to positively impact the lives of others. The response to this segment has been extremely positive, and we've had episodes on sparking change through fitness, adventure, mind, body, spirit, volunteering, mental health awareness, writing, interns, cultural exchange, networking, time, self-care, gratitude, love, purpose, listening, collaboration, mental health awareness, remembering loved ones, constantly learning, the value of hard work, optimism, hugs, thankfulness, gratitude, faith, and most recently, travel. Wow, that's a lot of episodes. So on that note, I have a question for you. How do you spark change? One of the ways we spark change here at I Spark Change is through reading. So question for you, what is the last book that you read that literally changed your life? Now, I used to think that this was an easy question for me because in the intro to my book, 12 Hours of Heaven, Lessons for a Better World, I explain how writing the book completely changed my life. I tell the story of how I went on incredibly, personal spiritual journey through the writing process that forever impacted the course of my life and ultimately led to the creation of I Spark Change, the platform, and then this podcast, and soon to be the world's first social impact-driven social media platform, which is in the development process. So if you ask me today, though, I'd say the answer isn't quite as clear-cut as it was a few years ago, because I wrote 12 Hours of Heaven during the pandemic in 2020, which was obviously a challenging time for many of us. And the book the book had at that point and continues to have a profound impact on my life's direction. But since then, I've written another book that most people don't know about. In 2021, I completed a private book that has never been published and exists in only a single printed copy. It's titled 365 Ways I Love You, and it was written as a gift from my wife, Tanya, for our 25th wedding anniversary. And actually, there it is. There's the book, 365 Ways I Love You. You can see a picture of both of us on the cover for those of you watching this on video. Now, over the course of a year, what I did is I journaled one reason why I love her every day. And then I compiled those entries along with pictures from our life together into a beautiful hardcover book, which you saw. And then I gave it to her on our anniversary. Now, that following year. Now, when I gave it to her, she said that it was the best present that she had ever received, and she was in tears and she couldn't believe it, just thumbing through the pages and looking at all the, the images and the different sayings. And, she may have loved it And, I think she still does. But honestly, I believe I was the one who benefited the most because the act of reading my words and writing the book literally transformed me. It helped to deepen, my understanding of her, our communication, heightened my gratitude, and shifted my perspective to focus not only on the, you know, not on little things, but only on the good in our relationship. And I stopped sweating the small stuff, as they say. I started loving her in hundreds of new ways that made me a better husband and a better human. And scripture teaches that the greatest commandment is to love God and to love one another. And writing about love helped me improve in both areas. And for that, I am eternally grateful. So now reading and writing, they go hand in hand, because if writing can change you, then reading can do the same. And sometimes even more so, because a book has the power to reshape your thinking, to spark your imagination, and to change the trajectory of your life. And I believe that's why, and that's what I believe. And that's why I continue to read every day, and why I make it a point to keep learning through reading, listening, or studying. I mean, I've probably mentioned on the show books like The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, or, The Powerful Words of Jim Quick, and Limitless, or other things, how those have guided my mindset, how they've helped me to form habits, how they've taught me to unlock more of my potential. Because I feel the right words delivered at the right time can truly change everything. And sometimes that doesn't come from a mentor or a friend or, a colleague or a loved one. Sometimes that comes from a book. And for me, that's been the case. And, reading has been a big part of my growth. And every year I set a goal for how many books I'm going to read. I mix it up. There's going to be some personal development in there, some leadership, some faith-based, some just for fun. And if I can't sit down to read, I'll listen to audiobooks while I'm driving or working out, because it's my way of staying sharp, grounded, and connected to new ideas. And I feel what, a mentor of mine calls that net zero time, that downtime, that you might as well, where your mind is busy or your body's busy, but you don't need to focus on exactly what you're doing. So example, working out or running or, riding a bike, how you listen to something at the same time. And that's where I can feel that I can get a lot done. So, reading for me and for a lot of others, and hopefully for you, it can help slow you down and cause you to reflect. It connects us with ideas, connects us with people, connects us with moments in time that spark that inner growth. And it's one of the easiest ways of sparking change within ourselves and in the world around us. So I'll ask you again, what is the last book that changed your life? I'd love to hear more about that. So please do share in the comments or reply. And I promise to answer every last message, because I want to hear what books have changed your life, and how has reading impacted you, and how do you continue to use reading to spark change? So that's all we got for today in this quick episode. Thank you for listening, and we'll see y'all next time.
Do you want Rick to speak at your event? Here's what others have to say.
Did not know his story, and it was so inspirational, and his presence on stage, his authenticity was just incredible.
Performance made me feel some type of way. My name is Craig Siegel.
If you're looking for a speaker for your next event, hire Rick. I promise you this, you will not be disappointed.
Visit rickcornelis.com to book him today.
Remember, Impact Heroes, every positive action can be a spark moment that has a ripple effect that spreads far beyond the initial act. So go out there and spark change. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this episode, then please smash that 5-star rating on iTunes or Spotify and leave a review. We value your comments, and we want to hear from you in the community. Thank you for listening. God bless you, and we'll see you next week on the iSpark Change podcast.